In this episode of the Undiscovered Metric, I spoke with Dayo Fordah, Product Marketing Manager at Adverity, and we discussed all things LinkedIn ads. Dayo, thank you very much for joining us. Before we dive into LinkedIn ads, if you could just give us a little bit of a run through of your background and career history and how you sort of got into the world of marketing and data.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I would say from a young age, I've always been interested in advertising, but more from, I guess, a creative direction sense. So when I graduated university all the way back in 2011, I tried to get into that space, but then to kind of give me the opportunity to earn some money and get experience through internships, I got into a little bit of web development, and from there, that's when I found the wonderful world of just digital marketing. So I started off in a media agency called MEC. Now it's called Wavemaker. And what my role was to be the campaign process manager, so the ad ops person. So that really involved me setting up campaigns for digital displaydisplay ads. Did that for a while. Progressed through that position to senior, and then ended up running that team. To be frank with you, then got bored and then did a little bit of tag strategy management. For those that don't know what that is the strategy behind all the tracking tags that get placed on an advertiser's site. And then off the back of that, I arrived at Adverity to become a solutions consultant. And a solutions consultant, for anyone that doesn't know, is someone that engages in demos and trials, walking the prospect through the platform and alleviating all the different pain points by showing the functionality that will actually resolve the issues that they have, and addressing the potential use cases for the use of the platform. And now I've smoothly transitioned into a product marketing manager.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners are very aware of LinkedIn. I'm sure they probably use it in a capacity almost daily. Actually, I was looking at some of the stats: 900 million active users. Sorry, which is a huge number. But from an advertising point of view, if you want to kick off, just giving us a little bit of background on how that sort of LinkedIn ads has come to the fore a little bit more than people may have anticipated.
So for anyone that doesn't know, LinkedIn is pretty much the largest professional network on the planet. So it's a place where you can find new jobs, find internships, but not only that, you can also cultivate your career by being able to network with your peers. And also, it's a place where you can actually learn the skills required for the profession that you want to go to. And it's where you can get that wealth of knowledge so that you can become an expert in your field. I guess you can think of it like a social network as well, because it has a news feed with tons of content on a myriad of subjects. But those subjects tend to, I would say, lean towards the professional and corporate. Now, from an advertiser perspective, if you're an enterprise, so as in either a big global brand, or you're a corporate brand, and you're in the, I guess, space of B2B sales, then this is the network that you really want to be advertising on. So think of examples such as if you're a company that if you're a SaaS company, SaaS, where you provide a platform for enterprise users to use, with a creative marketing agency, for a few examples, then LinkedIn is definitely the platform that you want to be advertising on. Very important to note that it's really quite expensive with regards to being able to advertise on that platform, but very high CPMs, but for good reason, because the audience that you can actually reach on that network is full of high quality, high intent people with significant resources to purchase the products and services that you want to sell to them. And you'll find that these audience members are very, very purposeful. They're very, very knowledgeable. So think of users that are a lot further down the purchase funnel in comparison to other places where you can advertise.
And you touched on CPM there. Is that one of the sort of key data points that people advertising on LinkedIn should be looking at, or what are the data points that you should really focus on to dial in your advertising on LinkedIn?
So yeah, there's quite a few data points that are very key if you want to be successful on LinkedIn and improve your campaign performance and essentially reach your KPIs. So first of all, total engagement for one. So that's it's an aggregation of likes, comments, and shares on your ads or your posts. So this is an invaluable metric when it comes to understanding whether or not your campaign content, your campaign creative is resonating with your actual audience. Also with reach as well. This is a metric that will, test your campaign performance effectiveness at reaching your audience, because you're actually looking at the individual people that your ads are actually being exposed to. So higher reach would mean that you're targeting effectively. More reach is more prospects, and it means more sales as well. And then also and back to CPM. So for anyone that doesn't know, that means cost per mil, and that refers to the cost per 1,000 impressions. The impressions is how many times your advertising material has been seen by users on LinkedIn. So a high impression rate signals that your content is high quality, it's on point, it's aligning with your visitors' needs. If you're able to achieve a high number of impressions for your ads or for your video ads, let's say, that means that your content is interesting and people love to return to it because it's actually related to what they're trying to accomplish in their professional career.
So we just touched upon CPM there, and I just wanted to get your take on, is it a balancing act for advertisers in terms of managing the seesaw of you want to be seen by as many people as possible, but obviously you want the cost to stay within your marketing budget. So is it often seen as a sort of a balancing out of numbers versus costs and when you're running those ads on LinkedIn?
Yeah, pretty much. So it's really important for people to understand that advertising on LinkedIn, as I already mentioned, is quite expensive, but you get what you pay for. So if you do use LinkedIn effectively, so you put in the appropriate settings, the targeting settings to reach your audience, though it's expensive, you will be reaching high quality members of your audience that are far more likely to convert and enable you to, improve your campaign performance and actually reach your company goals. So it does make sense. But if you don't include the correct settings and you don't reach your audience and you don't include the proper attributes for your audience within LinkedIn, then you will find that your campaigns can be very costly and the results will be very, very unfavorable.
What would you say are the sort of undiscovered metrics that people may be overlooking when they're sort of trying to set up their campaigns or looking for results as well?
So this is a really funny one. So this undiscovered or underutilized metric, let's say, is one that is not particularly idiosyncratic. It's not a weird metric, but it's one that I've found just isn't used enough, and that's LinkedIn, the video completions. Now, there's a wider issue across agencies, for example, where they will gravitate towards metrics that will make them look the best. Okay, the metrics that are a lot easier to accomplish. So if we take the conversation back to video impressions, it's a lot easier to accomplish video impressions, but video completions, there's a higher threshold for success in that area. And that is why you can find that a lot of agencies will shy away from ensuring that they're reaching high thresholds for that video completion. But it's more important in a sense because of the fact that a video completion will tell you how well your audience is engaging with your content because they are watching the video all the way through. That means that your video content has detail, it's high quality, and it's either concise or at the very least holding their attention. So it's a really, really important metric that unfortunately gets neglected. And it's very important that, and again, it's part of a wider conversation of agencies not trying to, let's say, selectively pick metrics that are easier to accomplish. And then off the back of that as well, another metric that kind of goes almost hand in hand with video completions is I would like to call them the video increments. So this is a metric such as video first quartile completion, video midpoint completions, etc., etc. So by looking at the stages in which your viewers are dropping off from your video, can tell you from your video ads, it can tell you a lot about how good your content is, how much is actually speaking to your intended audience. Are they dropping off 25% of the way through the video? Maybe your content is a little bit long-winded, maybe it's not correctly communicating what you're intending to, or it's just not resonating with your audience. Now, not only you can use these metrics to determine how well your content's doing and at what stage your content is not quite hitting right, but also you can use those increments to funnel users into different audiences based on how far they've progressed in the video. So let's say if you have a user that's looked at 75% of your video, and then they drop off at that certain point, then you can retarget that user with content that will address the final 25% of your video, and you can make all sorts of other creative decisions that will better communicate what your products and services can accomplish for that user, what pain points that your products and services can actually address for that user. So these are really, really vital, important metrics that you can really use to guide the quality of your ad content.
The video increments metric sounds really fascinating. And are people not using it because of lack of awareness? Is it not promoted, or is it just actually that we're still focusing on those traditional sort of vanity metrics?
Yeah, I would say that so people are definitely aware that these metrics exist, but I guess they're prioritizing looking good. They're prioritizing going after metrics that are a lot easier to accomplish. And because of that, they are not aware of the value that you get from utilizing these particular metrics. The fact that you can use for example, the video increment metrics to really, really tweak your content to suit your needs, and also being able to become a lot better at targeting your different personas, your different users at different stages of the purchase funnel. I just think that because of the fact that they are put off by the high threshold and difficulty it comes when you want to get high numbers for those metrics, people avoid it, and because they do that, they are unaware of the value of these metrics.
And do you think that that's one of the most common mistakes, ignoring these metrics? You've just talked about some of the huge benefits of retargeting. You can really understand your audience and personas. Is that the biggest mistake people are making with LinkedIn ads data, or are there others that you see as well that people are sort of continually bashing their head against the wall a little bit?
So I'd definitely say that is probably the biggest mistake that advertisers are making. But also other mistakes that are quite. It's quite embarrassing that in this day and age people still are making these mistakes. But just basic things such as ensuring that the LinkedIn pixel is actually placed on the advertiser's site, and because what that pixel does, it tracks information, tracks the data of the visitors to your site, and marketers aren't really taking full advantage of all the the valuable information on their users, and because that data can actually be used to then be plugged back into LinkedIn and make the targeting so much more specific to your audience. You can learn so much more about your users by obviously putting the pixel down on the side, gathering that information, and then using it to further tweak your targeting parameters within the platform. But then it's not only that, and I think a lot of these mistakes that I'm talking about, they sound really basic, but you wouldn't believe how underutilized these tips are. But also things like getting the timing right when it comes to when campaigns, LinkedIn campaigns are running. So people forget the fact that when you selectively choose when your campaign is live and pause, that makes all the difference. You've got to really get into the mind of the members of your audience and say to yourself, when are they going to actually be looking at the platform? Are they going to be looking at looking at the LinkedIn pages when they're on their morning commute, or during lunchtime, or on their commute back, and so on and so forth? And also, people tend to disregard the fact that people look at LinkedIn during the weekend as well. I find a lot of marketers will will pause their campaigns during the weekend because for some reason they've got into their heads that no users are using the platform. But a lot of exposure and activity takes place during the weekends as well. So people really need to pay attention to the different times of the day in which users are active on the platform, so people really miss out. So advertisers miss out on a lot of opportunities to expose their ads to these users. And I guess I'd say one more mistake that people make as well. So when they're creating their audiences and setting all those parameters within the LinkedIn platform, you've got to try various things out, and sometimes the audience you've selected isn't gleaning the results that you want. But never just delete an audience within the platform when it's not accomplishing what you're after, because sometimes it may just take one or two tweaks for you to see massive gains in what you're trying to accomplish. And what people find is that they will spend a lot of time building audiences, and they don't get the results that they want, and then they'll go ahead and discard the entire audience. And when they do realize that there were actually quite a few parameters that they had set that actually did make sense and would actually have been which would contribute a lot to their success, because of the fact that they've gone ahead and deleted that audience, they have to start from scratch. So it's very important that if you're going to invest time building audiences, don't lose heart when you don't immediately get the results that you want. It's really important for you to keep tweaking, and keep learning.
Learning seems to be the theme of the day with LinkedIn ads, in terms of there's so much data at your disposal. Use it to sort of test and tweak and ultimately improve your advertising. The tools are there, it seems.
Yeah, exactly. It's all there. You've really got to understand I really can't undersell the wealth of information that you get from users within LinkedIn, because things like job title, interests, or what companies do they follow, what pages they follow, which influencers they follow. That data is so invaluable when it comes to, I guess, building a really, really rich consumer profile for your different audiences.
Just moving away from LinkedIn to the wider marketing industry, are there any things that you really think are going to sort of catch fire over the next 12 to 18 months, or you're really starting to see trends that people need to jump on now, or actually are going to sort of fade away a little bit as well over the next sort of 12 to 18 months, something that we might have been doing for a long time?
I just want to preface this by saying a lot of these things I mentioned, they should have caught fire a while ago. You could have asked me the same question a year or two ago, and I would have said the same thing. But there's been a lot of delays with regards to these things actually capturing the advertising world by storm. But let's go. So first of all, augmented analytics. So I guess for anyone that doesn't know, it's it's an approach to data analytics that is powered by AI, machine learning, natural language processing, and statistical modeling, and combining that with a client's historical data in order to automate a lot of the processes that would be done by a specialist or a data scientist. Now, this technology has existed for a long time, but I guess down to the data immaturity of a lot of advertisers, it's taken a very, very long time for them to see the value in this. And I think the only reason why I would say now that the advertising world is ready to get on board with augmented analytics is because of the fact that now we have things like Chat GPT, we have AI, we have music made by AI, we have art made by AI. So I think it's finally opened people's eyes to how much AI and machine learning can create content and make decisions and help you automate so many processes. So I would say that those three things I mentioned have made these concepts so much more approachable, and so that's why I feel as if that the advertising world's eyes are now going to be opened to this concept. I would also say as well a big one, cookieless tracking. So again, we've been aware of third-party cookies being deprecated. We've been aware of the cookie apocalypse for a considerable number of years now, but simply put, because of the fact that Google, with its Chrome browser, so the Chrome browser has by far the highest share in the browser market, and because of the fact that it's decided not to deprecate the third-party cookies yet, because they're trying to come up with a way in which they can create, I guess, an environmental ecosystem where they can track users without the use of it. So because they keep delaying that deprecation process, a lot of companies have been dragging their heels when it comes to understanding and utilizing all the different cookieless tracking technology that's available to them, which is a shame. You have, companies need to leverage, the first-party data more, the zero-party data, which I'm going to go into, but things like a cohort analysis, having a better understanding of all the different, how the different walled gardens work as well, and so on and so forth. So there are so many different solutions for marketers to target users that doesn't require third-party cookies, but they've not been investing enough time to research and see what works for them. But I feel as if now, in the next 18 months, people will open their eyes to that and start making the relevant investment and time and gathering knowledge into these different technologies. And to kind of segue into, I guess, my last concept as well, so zero-party data. So zero-party data as well, think of it as a subset of first-party data. This is it's qualitative data that your users, as an advertiser, your users are voluntarily given to you, and that data has a lot more detail into who they are as people. So you can learn a lot more about their sentiments, their behaviors, their attitudes towards your advertising, towards your products and services, and so on and so forth. So the data is a lot more richer in comparison to the other different types of data, where it's more kind of looking at different increments of metrics. Here you get information about how your consumers actually feel. So marketers need to make more use of that. They need to be collecting that data, because they will be able to use that to build richer consumer profiles and get a more detailed understanding of the customer journey in the sense of all the different interactions that customer has with your business.
So it sounds like as marketers in that industry, we've got a little bit of homework to do over the next sort of 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, exactly. I think companies need to get more into the habit of being able to have the foresight to recognize paradigm shifting technologies instead of waiting for their hands to be forced, essentially.
Is there any sort of advice you would want to give to your younger self starting out on this journey, or any advice you would give to someone who's about to go into the sort of data and analytics and marketing world?
What I would definitely say is, I think shadowing is very underutilized. It's very important for any person to have a full understanding of the business and how all the different roles work. I think people tend to get just too fixated on what they're doing and not having an understanding of how different teams and other departments work and how we all link in together into this company ecosystem. I would say that, really take advantage of if you're in an office that has an open plan, really take advantage of that and take the opportunity to, reach out to other people if you want to understand their jobs better. Sit by them, ask questions, because you really want to broaden your skill set and give you a better understanding of how all the different channels and mediums actually work. So definitely reach out to people, be curious, ask questions, advocate for yourself, and you also expose yourself to different departments and build a brand for yourself, because it will really take you far when it comes to your progression through your career and upward mobility.
Fantastic. Dayo, thank you so much. It's been a really, really interesting chat.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for having me.